Alrighty, so I think that GJ might have enough buyers to actually break through this resistance level that we was just not making it through for the longest time. It dipped back into this liquidity level. It also made a higher low compared to over here. So there is a possibility sometime, I don't know when, but we have a higher possibility now to actually break through this weekly level and hit this negative 27% target. And it's a target that is, it's all based on the daily. Just one nice swift move through there would be so nice. So we actually have news in about an hour and 10 minutes. So, and it's red folder news, so look out for that. Let's see if we have any more news today, 23 for GJ. Oh, we have a speech later, but it's not high impact news. Yeah. Some US stuff. Okay, so the main thing that we got to be concerned about is the fact that we have some news at 4:30. So let's talk about yesterday's move, man. I had a little bit of confusion there, because on one hand, my trading plan is like, if the lower highs are being maintained, you shouldn't be entertaining buys. And then it's like, okay, but what's the exception? So I had to solidify what my exception was, because we're in a bullish fib. It's like, you got to remember where you are. And if you're taking sells, they can't be long term. They definitely can't be. And on top of that, so my exception is when you come into a weekly or monthly zone, for example, the only supports I really have drawn, aside from these mini ones, this is, based off of this, right? So because price was coming into that level, it was lining up with the 78.6 fib on the current main time frame. I was like, this might be an exception to the rule, because right here we had that last lower high that was being formed, and I was like, should I take sells? So I actually entered in buys right here at first, because in my head I was like, well, one, we're at the 78.6 on a bullish fib. Mainly what I love to see is that we're at a weekly, and if I'm looking for an actual break of resistance, I can see that already happened during Asian session, right? We're maintaining lower highs, we're maintaining lower highs, we're maintaining lower highs, but then it clearly broke with the help of these candles. So I was like, okay, so you mean to tell me we broke resistance, we're in a weekly area, this might be a really good opportunity for some buys. And what really did it for me was the fact that, we could mark off this level here with a random line and see that price only tested this level with the perfect engulfing. It was a 100% retest of, right? So we have the break and then we have the 100% retest. It doesn't break because it's bearish, doji, bullish. So this is like what you would ideally want to see. This was my first buy, but then I saw some bullshit, and then I was like, let me get out. But I didn't have to do that. What I saw was right, so I was tracking the higher lows to make sure it maintained. Higher lows maintained. This was just a break. This scared me because I was like, what is going on? I don't get it. And then we have this bearish that I was like, oh, let me exit because it broke, and I will let that be a part of my plan. But I think an exception to when I can have these early exits is like if I'm in a time frame like this, if I'm in a weekly support and I'm actually going for buys and I see a minor break of support, much less, my God, a doji to end it, I think I have to go ahead and just ignore that because of the location that we're in. Right, so sometimes early exits can be helpful, You know, like the time where I actually had an early exit, I think it was over here. No. An early exit over here because I saw what price wanted to do. I was like, okay, we had this last higher low right here, and we had bearish. I was like, well, let me exit because my stop is over here, so wherever it was, and I got out soon. Well, you know, it made sense. But this was because, you know, this is a weekly level, and I was in buys, and then I saw it, you know, come against me. So I think it's just a matter of knowing when and when not to do certain things. But anyhow, I ended up getting into buys over here. So I'm in buys right now. I definitely have the bias that price will continue to break through this level. If it doesn't, what I think you're going to see is price maybe consolidate for a second, have a minor break of support, and then come back to this level to find support, break, and continue. If price is not just going to like shoot to this level, right? So there's that. And then you also want to see how price is going to start to react when news comes. Now for gold, there was an opportunity for me to actually buy yesterday, but because it didn't actually come to my PRZ zone, I didn't assume that it was going to be a long-term buy, so I just didn't take it. So I wanted to see price come down to at least its 38.2 level, but that did not happen. Let me see the proper way to put this right here. Bullish, bearish. All right. So price never came down to my PRZ zone, so I just, you know, I just let it go, and I was like, all right, I just won't take that right now. It's cool. But if I see price come to this weekly level, definitely want to take some buys on that. Oh, let's see what gold is doing for a second. What I'm looking for right now is if we have a break of support, because even when price, let me delete some of this stuff. Even when price came down here, broke, and was on its way up here, I was like, I don't think it's gonna be long-term buys because we have the weekly resistance right here, so it might actually reject for a second for some reason. So I wasn't really interested in taking buys. But right now, what I'm looking at is the fact that this was the last support level. And if I see bearish, it looks like we have that here. Yeah, we have an official break of support on gold. And what that means now is you're going to want to be looking for more bearish movements than bullish movements at the moment. Let me just make sure that's all right. Let me get my clarity. Okay. So the last support that was formed, median of the wicks. Yeah, I would definitely say that this is a break of support. Given how these two candles are acting. Yeah, she's a break of support. So basically what that means is when a break of support happens, all price is trying to do is find some, it's just going into a retracement, you know, trying to find a PRZ, a nice PRZ to settle on. For all I know, it could come to the 23.6 and just completely reverse. But you know, it just broke. So I genuinely think that price could really come back to this level. And if that's the case, I'm definitely gonna buy after price breaks in my favor. Let's see the daily. Looks like we got a new higher high on the daily, right? So this was at one point the higher high that just really did it for me and let me know that, yo, this, look, but all this, these were highs, and then we had a complete higher high. We had this legit higher low. Now we have a new higher high. So if this candle closes bearish, I think the fib that would be on the daily and that would look most appropriate would probably be something like this. So if price were to come back and dip a little bit more than I originally thought, I don't be surprised. I just have to know how to handle it. And maybe I would want to see like 4 hours start to break back bullish first. I don't know. Just depends on how price is moving and how it's all playing out. But currently my bias for gold is bearish just based off of what it just did, right? We have the break of support. Let me actually go put rising bearish because of the break of support. So I don't come on here looking for some buys like a dildo. All right. If this news could push GJ past this resistance, I'd be very grateful. But yeah, let's just go ahead and see what happens